for 2025, not just to resolve, but to help us stay true to these resolutions. And we just talked to you about why self-reflection is very important going to 2025. And now we want to look at the 5 ways to prepare better for the new year, talking about 2025. And the very first point would be reflection. Yes, reflection is very important. We already talked about the fact that you need to have a time to go back memory lane, the past 12 months, what you've been able to achieve, the challenges you've experienced, and of course, acknowledging the lessons that you've learned along the way. Because reflecting on your experiences could help you identify areas of personal growth, assess your goals, and also gain clarity on what really matters or what doesn't matter. This is where you get to ask yourself, how well did you do it? How well did you not do it? And you get to improve on the coming year. I mean, you get to improve yourself in the coming year, because if you do not reflect, there is no way you can move on. It's only, I mean, it's growth comes with acceptance of so many things, and that acceptance rather comes from a reality check where you go back in time and see what you've been able to do from the positive and the negative side. Sometimes people do only a positive reflection and they forget about the negative part, and not knowing that even diamonds have to go through the roughest things to enable them be diamonds. So it's very important that you have that self-reflection from both sides, the negative and the positive perspectives, so that you will be able to go into the new year as a refreshed person, someone that will have that high level of self-awareness, because self-awareness is something that is very invaluable. It's something that you really, really cannot take out of your growth as a person. And this also applies in your career. This also applies in your business venture. So if you were like this to your customers before, maybe the customers you used to have, they started moving to another shop because, oh, maybe your staff are doing this and doing that. Maybe you don't used to give time to your shop and everything. You need to start giving time to that business. Don't just leave the business in the hands of your staff. You need to come always to check. Once you have time, come and check the records and see what you need to do. You have that reflection. How did I serve my customers this year? Was I better? Was I able to do something? I think I saw a video, maybe this is not very related, but I saw a video where one man was saying that every time, the only way you appreciate your customers at the end of the year is by just writing flyers. I mean, like designing flyers. How about you send them hampers? Maybe your most loyal customer, just randomly send hampers, randomly try to do something. Just do something to appreciate them. Maybe somebody has patronized you at least 5 to 10 times this year. It's something that is very commendable. So instead of just designing flyers and posting, you could just send them random hampers if they are close, if they're in your city, if it's something you can afford. It mustn't be hampers that
doesn't have to be expensive.
Yes, there are so many thoughtful things that do not have to take so much of money. But this can only come when you have a reflection of the journey, because by the time you are reflecting, you're understanding that, oh, these are the people, these are the customers that really, really impacted your business this year. So how do you appreciate them to make them stay and even continue to recommend people, bring people to you, so that as they're referring you to people, customers are coming the more. So how do you maintain these customers? So it's just about having that self-reflection, looking out of the box and seeing that, okay, aside the achievements that I've made so far, there is still more for me to do. Maybe this is how I would do it better. How is this person doing that they're taking all of my customers? Yes, we are doing the same restaurant business, but maybe their food tastes better, or maybe their food doesn't even taste better.
Clean or something.
You remember there was a video that was making the rounds. This Okweyemi from my king, there's a guy that acclaims himself as the biggest food critic. He said something that there was a place in Gwarimpa that he patronized, and before they could say Jack, someone else came and opened a similar place. And the thing is that this person's place doesn't even, this person's food,
I think I know the place. Street food, recently they just opened the street food thing.
That the person's food doesn't taste as good as the person they had advertised. And so the guy says something that, okay, it's time for me to leave this business place. Since somebody has come here and the person is more rich, the person likely is more wealthy to, furnish their own and make it more aesthetically pleasing. The guy decided to leave that place and go to somewhere. But now they still made another ad for that guy, that this is where this guy is. What is that thing that actually made him to get that coverage? Because his services stood out. So even as there was a copycat coming in, he could not copy everything, because what that guy had in him was something that, I mean, has in him is not something that any other person would take. So
Exactly.
I think that it's just about you knowing what you've been able to do and how you can do it better in 2025.
And that's like a very, very realistic example, because there's something we said in the previous episodes of the Workstation, and it is that that you can work so hard on yourself that nobody else can be you.
Yeah.
And what makes you is your originality, the fact that nobody can take whatever it is away that you have away from you. And so we encourage working on intangible things rather than the things that you can see. So maybe the other person had, the aesthetics, he has the money to fund the business, but what the other person had was intangible, which is something that could not be taken away from him. And that's one thing about working on intangible things. They can be replicated at any time and at any place, right? And that brings us to the second way you can prepare better for your year, and it is setting realistic goals and intentions. Now, we might be tempted to do all the big goals in 2025. I want $1 million uncountable dollars, and all those very ridiculous amounts of money that we call. It's not out of place to make that declaration, right? It's not out of place to want the best things in life. But the thing is, how realistic is that goal? Now, how do you know your goals are realistic or not realistic? That's the importance of reflection. Where am I coming from? Where am I currently? And where do I want to go? If you do this analysis, it helps you know the gap in your preparation. It helps you know the gap in your knowledge. And it tells you, maybe not exactly, estimably, where you can be in the next couple of years. So the beginning of a new year, it brings like a surge of motivation to make like positive changes. But it is very important, it's very crucial to set realistic and achievable goals. So break down your aspirations into smaller, manageable tasks that align with your values and your priorities. And this is not even just about business. I know we're talking about, the professional setting. It's also about relationships. Imagine someone saying that in the year 2025, I want to get married the first quarter. And you have never been out in the year 2024. You have not networked with anybody. You are not even in any talking stage.
Your husband will be.
I know the delivery man. I know that. We will say God works in mysterious. I believe that too. But my darling, there are things that are realistically proven. Like you need to be realistic about your demands, right? It's just like me going to meet my father and telling my father that I want 2 billion naira. It's not a realistic thing, because I know he will not be able to afford 2 billion naira. Can he give me 2 billion naira now? No. So why am I making that demand? My expectations of him is unrealistic, because I know where he currently is. So that's the way we should think when we are setting goals for the year 2025. So whether you aim to embrace your physical health, advance your career, or cultivate meaningful relationshiip, setting specific, remember SMART goals we talked about, specific goals, measurable goals, achievable goals, and relevant and time-bound goals. So whether you aim to enhance your physical health, advance your career, or cultivate meaningful relationships, setting these specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound goals will increase the likelihood of your success. When we say SMART goals, what is S again? Specific. What do I want in the year 2025? I want to make like 50% of return in my business. That's being specific. How do I want to do it?
Measure it.
You measure it. How do I want to do it? Okay, I want to improve my service like this. I want to expand my business. Maybe I'm just in Abuja. I want to have outlets in Lagos. I want to have in Port Harcourt. I want to have in Delta State. So you measure how you are going to get there. It's one thing to have, this thing they used to say, if wishes were horses, beggars will ride. It means that if everyone has the opportunity to make a wish, but not many people have the courage to follow through with these wishes to make them achievable goals or make them finished goals. You get? So you measure, then are my goals attainable? That is, are they achievable? Yes, I can achieve 50% increase in my business, because I have noticed that there's a gap in Port Harcourt, there's a gap in Lagos. People need my service here. I was just this morning I was talking about a certain business with my friend. I'll not tell you so you not steal it. So she was telling me, oh, I have this business idea. I want to like pursue this business idea and all of that. And then I was telling her, this thing you're thinking now, that's the thing with ideas. You might not be the only person that have this idea. You can't, there can be 5, 6, 7 people that these ideas have sprung up in their mind, but the difference between you and the other person that had that idea today is the action that you take in achieving those ideas, or moving them from just ideas to achievable goals. So if you're saying, oh, I did my research and I've seen that only 2 people are in the business, why is it that only 2 people are thriving in that business? What did they do that made them stand out from every other person that is in the same field? So it's not enough to just have the business ideas. It's also very important that you quantify that idea, you measure it, and find out if it is an attainable goal. Then is it realistic? When we say realistic goals, is it relevant? In 2025, I'm thinking about bringing back typewriters. Is it a relevant goal? Is it a realistic goal? We have moved past the point where we are using typewriters. In fact, these days, I'm so lazy, I type with my voice. Like, I'm telling my phone literally what I want to write, and the phone is typing it down for me. All I need to do is edit it to ensure that it suits my personal taste. And you want to bring back typewriters. It's a very irrelevant goal. Do you get? And time bound. I want to make 10 billion naira. Where am I? Again, that's why reflections are very important.
Yeah.
Within what time frame? Is it from January to March, or from February to December? What time goal have you given to yourself? So consider creating a vision board, like I said, and which we'll be talking more on vision boards next week. Consider creating a vision board or journaling to visually represent your aspirations and track your progress throughout the year. Now, this can be great New Year resolutions for students so that they can ensure that they get more out of their education. But for business owners too, I remember also emphasizing on the need to journal. The need to journal is very important. Writing things down, it helps you track your progress undiluted, undoubtedly. So yes, set realistic goals and intentions. That's the second way that you can prepare to get into the year better.
All right, now moving on to the next point, which will be for you to declutter and organize. I know that some people, the only time they remember to declutter is maybe they are moving out of the country, they need to sell off things, or they want to buy things, and then they have to do away with other things. But decluttering doesn't just have to do with the physical things that we see. It also has to do with our mindset, our mental spaces as well. What you do as a person mentally determines everything that operates in the physical. So that is the point where you need to let go of certain things. There are some people that they know they can do it, but at the same time there is a voice in them telling them that this thing, everybody's doing it. There is no way, even if no matter how you try, you cannot do it. And for the fact that every other person is doing it, they feel like they cannot do it. And then, okay, you want to go into content creation, for example. You have created so many videos, but every day you wake up, you take a look at these videos and you're like, oh, every other thing I'm seeing on Instagram, my videos do not fit into that idea of what should be there. It does. Look at this influencer, clear camera, everything is on point, the sound on check. So me, I'm just here with my videos. They don't make sense. How do I go post those kind of videos? But the content in those videos are what would actually help people to learn about something, but you are holding back because you feel they are not up to standard, forgetting that there is a procedure to everything. So for me, I would say how you should approach this decluttering thing is by trying to remove those kind of thoughts from your mind. Try to read your mental mind from certain things that will stop you from achieving these goals, because you need to have a clear mind, a clear thinking space that will help you to see the potential that you are, and also accommodate the need to move on. Because if you do not see that need to move on from certain things, you will hold back to 2024, and every other person will go to 2025 and still leave you in 2024 because you are still overwhelmed by everything that 2023 brought. There are some people that are still holding on to what happened in
to them
2023. Yes, they are still unable to move on from it, even when we are almost done with 2024. So for me, I would say, for the fact that maybe you have been a medical doctor for so many years, how about you open a YouTube channel where you're talking about certain things about health? You could do something. I know they say they don't have time always, but you could always make time, right? Maybe you have been a farmer. How about you see how you can diversify? Maybe you're no longer doing the farming the conventional way. You're trying to educate people, younger people, on how they can go about this agri thing, trying to change mindset, going on a radical change, or to see how you can utilize modern day technology to boost your whole agricultural venture, and so many things. So what I'm saying is that letting go of those old things and trying to welcome new opportunities things. Yes, so that you can get a sense of clarity and focus as you enter the new year. Because if you do not declutter, if you do not learn how to organize your mindset, it might be difficult for you to get that clarity that you need for 2025, especially as regards your career.
Decluttering is super important. Now let's move to the fourth, and one of the most important things to do as you prepare for the new year is cultivating healthy habits. Before we even get into that, let me confess, like I said from the start of this year that I was going to listen to like 30 minutes podcast every day in the morning when I get up, aside to your normal prayers and all of that. I'd listen to like a 30 minutes podcast and do a 30 minutes walk every day. But I did it for just 3 months and then I quit. Now the thing is, it's not that I completely quit, right? I showed myself grace. The days when I knew that I was not able to do it, I didn't do it. The days when I can do it, I extended the time to maybe 1 hour or 2 hours listening to some of those podcasts. But the thing is, it's important that you learn to cultivate very healthy habits, because once something becomes a habit for you, it's very difficult for you to drop it, or it's difficult for you to leave it. So New Year resolutions, it revolves around health and wellness as well. And for a good reason. Prioritize your physical and mental well-being by cultivating very healthy habits. This could include adopting a regular exercise routine, improving your sleep hygiene, incorporating nutritious foods into your diet, and practicing mindfulness and meditation. One thing I know that I woefully failed doing is, my sleep time. I didn't honor my sleep time and my wake time because I wasn't sleeping early enough. I wasn't waking up early enough. So it just kind of affected the flow of everything that I had planned out from the start of the year. Now, instead of completely abandoning that goal to cultivating a healthy habit for the year, what you can do is re-strategize. And that's one thing I failed to do throughout this year. I said, you know what, these are healthy habits I need to cultivate. Remember the podcast, remember the 30 minutes walk every day. I could not do it every day. What can I now do in place of that? Do you get? So it's important that when you get into this new year, look for very healthy habits to cultivate. Even if it means cultivating a like 30 minutes workout every day. Just doesn't have to be anything rigorous. It can just be like long walks, when they drop you at your estate gate, or ensure that you are dropped at your estate gate. That's if you are not mobile. Drop at your estate gate, take a walk to your house, just once try to ensure that you incorporate something healthy in your lifestyle. Now, small sustainable changes in these areas, they can have a very significant impact on your overall health and your happiness. Remember that building habits take time. So start with manageable adjustments and gradually increase your intensity. There's one thing they used to tell us in church. Praying is not an easy task. It's not very easy to wake up every day and pray. But the fact that that, you have to commune with the higher authority, with the higher being. You have to talk to God every day. For some people who think that, that's the most appropriate thing to do. You have to commend your ways to the Lord, and he will give you peace, or he will direct you, and however that scripture is being said. A lot of people want to do that. So there's something that made me make that point now.
The fact that we need to be consistent.
Yes, we need to be. So, yes.
Because we know that there is something to get.
Exactly. So, there's something they said in church. They said, if you know that you have a problem with consistency in praying, that's why you have a devotional. You have these devotionals. Now, some people might say, oh, you are a baby Christian, that's why you're using devotionals. But as long as it ensures your efficiency, it ensures your function.
People actually say that?
Yes, people say that a lot.
Because, you see, even our preachers, especially in the Catholic Church, no matter how old those priests are, they've been preaching for years.
They
They
still
would
use the
never
missal.
preach without the missal. They will always look, because even you as a congregation, you have already memorized everything that ordinarily
missal.
you can stand and say the mass from start to finish. But the people that have been doing it for over 30 years are still using the missal. So I don't think it's even a big
So
deal.
that's what many people say. So things like the devotional can help you be consistent. I don't know about the Quran, but I know that they also have like chapters of the Quran that people get to read every single day and all of that. Those things can ensure your efficiency, especially when it comes to building a healthy spiritual life. It's the same thing. Why can we adopt that in our spiritual life and not adopt that in our personal and healthy life? So we cannot say, I want to do this every year. Every day, I want to do this 30 minutes every day, I want to do this 20 minutes every day. But it is important that you cultivate a healthy habit, because incorporating healthy habits can also play like a very pivotal role in achieving specific New Year resolutions, whether it is excelling in a new career, embarking on a study abroad adventure, or simply fostering a positive lifestyle change. So it is important to cultivate healthy habits, whether in your relationships, your personal life, or whatever. It's super important. And then I think the very final one would be fostering connections and community. I'm sure that you have heard countless times the importance of networking here on radio. To support the support of friends, family, and community can play a very crucial role in personal growth and well-being. Now, I'll share something very sweet that my own parents said to me sometime last month. I was going through like a very difficult time, because juggling a lot of things at once happened to be like one of the most difficult, it posed a very difficult time. And there's one thing my papa said to me. He said, no matter how hard it gets outside, remember that you can always come inside, because there's love at home. Do you get that? And that meant a lot to me. I was very stressed to my brains, but just by knowing that there's somebody I can always rely on in the time of my difficulty and in my stress just gave me a lot of comfort at that time. Even talking to friends who can also help you out of that situation is super important. So foster connections and a community. Create a community of people. Create a community of like-minded people. People that are in your tribe. People that understand what your goals are. And you guys are almost in the same community or trying to achieve the same goals. And that's why it's important. If you are a journalist, there's a body for journalists. If you are like a poet, there's an association or a community of poets. If you are a writer, there's just be part of a community. Because the support of friends, family, and these communities can play a very crucial role in your personal growth and your well-being. So as you prepare for the new year, take out time to nurture your relationships and build connections with those who share the same values and aspirations with you. Take out time to nurture relationships are currencies. Money cannot buy relationships, but relationships can buy literally anything you can think of in this planet. Just knowing that when I'm in trouble, there's somebody I can call gives me some level of confidence. It boosts my confidence. Like, it boosts my ability to push through challenges, because I know that there's somebody I can rely on. I know there's a friend I can rely on, and I know there's a community that understands what I'm going through. So if you don't do anything for yourself, if you didn't do any of this in the year 2024, it's important that you consciously and intentionally build relationships with people that are in your tribe and in your community that can bear the burden or the brunt of what you are going through at every time. And most importantly, be that person yourself, because life is a give and take situation. So as much as you have people that you can rely on, also be somebody that other people can rely on. Consider joining clubs. I'm not talking about party clubs now. If that works for you, that works for you. But consider joining clubs of writers, journalists, artists. Just join clubs, organizations, online communities that align with your interests. And importantly, surround yourself with a supportive network that can provide encouragement, accountability, very important, and a sense of belonging as you walk towards your goal. So yes, conclusively, preparing for the new year is like an opportunity to reflect on the past, to set meaningful goals, and to also cultivate positive habits that can contribute to your overall well-being. By taking the time to access these your experiences and declutter your life and make the effort. Decluttering your life, one thing I wanted to add to what you were even saying, friendships that don't amount to anything, friendships that you guys are just friends but you have never had any meaningful conversation. It's either you discard the friendship or you work on it. That's one thing I would say. Anything that pulls you back, anything that does not contribute to help you to helping you actualize your purpose or live in your purpose, that thing is a burden, and burdens should be lifted, as much as possible. So if that you have that kind of friendship, or you have that kind of relationship that is not amounting of any to anything about growth and development, it's either you work on that relationship or you completely separate yourself from it, whichever works for you at any time. So make the effort to form new connections as well. You can enter the upcoming year with a sense of purpose and optimism. So
that's right. It's about, and everything we've said here, it's not because we want to talk. It's because we understand the importance of you giving in so much to boost your career, boost your business, boost whatever it is that you're doing to put food on your table. The world is becoming very uneasy, much more uneasier than it was back then. So the only way you need to go about life is by being very adaptive and trying how to see the strategies that you can inculcate to help you move on. And I believe that some of these things we've said here will help you very better as you prepare for the next year, talking about 2025. It's already here, so it's not just about hearing it, but I'm hoping that we'll also try to put some of these things into consideration and see how we can work with them and also work on them.
All right. That being said, we've come to the end of the show for today. Next time, when you'll be hearing us, we'll be talking about the Girlfriend Show. Keep it locked in here, and please ensure that you utilize some of these things that we have said. We utilize it too. It works for us, and that's why we're able to tell you, some of these things. So thank you again for giving us a listening ear. It's Martha and
Cassandra.
Please do not go anywhere, because
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We will be right back.